One of the last lens that we can consider is that of variance Hertz. So there are a lot of different options here. One would be to come in and have a look at any of these times and then argue that, somehow, let me just first note that I've returned our model back to the base case by taking the anesthesia pool down to one. There's an anesthesiologist in both pools. In the anesthesia pros A and B pools, there is now just one pro, and that is the anesthesiologist. So any of these service times, the surgery time, the sedation time, the registration time, all have some variance associated with it. And it's conceivable that with training and maybe some standardization of tooling, protocols, of the workflow, that you could get a reduction, and that may help. The standard deviations are not tremendous. I mean, you can see there's a standard deviation here of 8 minutes on a 100-minute mean, and on this, actually the anesthesia is quite a lot of variation, 7 minutes on a 25-minute mean. So those things, you could get, for example, a 20 or 30% reduction in the standard deviation using those kinds of moves, and those are proposals you can come up with and you can quickly analyze. So, for example, let's suppose you think you can have the standard deviation, or take it down to 4.09. You just literally just make that a 4, and the same for track B, and then you just run it, right? And you'd be able to assess if that is actually going to bring in any benefit. Generally speaking, I mean, the lens says that variance Hertz, and by reducing those variances, you should get improvement, whether you get your 6th surgery and or whether you get reduction in flow times remains to be seen, because we need practical wins here. Just small, let's say less than a minute deltas may not be all that interesting. It could take too much effort to get excuse me, minimal benefit. But what I want to do in this clip excuse me, is to consider the idea of leveraging the insight that Paul Conridge and his co-authors came to in his paper, the Journal of Arthroplasty paper, and that is that BMI matters. So the first idea is, what I want to do is I want to make track A for the lighter BMIs, the lower BMIs, and then track B for the higher BMIs. Now, whether this is socially acceptable, ethically viable, is something for you to debate. But I want to just analyze this, and if it doesn't make any difference, then we don't need to bother about it. So I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet here. I've got these two BMI. I want to analyze these two BMI groups. So we've got this basic information from the case. I'll just show you where that is. It's this is in table 2 in the case. I've repeated that information here, so you can see I've got these different BMIs. There are the mean time, procedure mean time, standard deviations, and here are the percentages. And what I want to do is I want to figure out. So the idea is to split this thing into 2, so that okay, let me just show you where the original information was. Here's the original percentages. So you can see if I want 50% in track A and 50% in track B, that split is here's group 1. I'm just trying to find my original information. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna have the first 3 categories total 45%. 1 plus 14 plus 30 gives me 45. So I'm actually going to have to take 5% of the obese folks and put them in track A, and then track B is going to take care of the remainder of the obese folks, and then of course all the morbidly obese folks. So that is the split. Let's see, all of the morbidly obese, and then 40 of these 45% are going to be in track B, and then the remaining 5% and everybody with a lower BMI goes to track A. So what I want to do in the spreadsheet then is I want to figure out what is the mean and the standard deviation of the track A patients and the track B patients. And what I finally concluded was that the mean time, of course, is less. You can see that it has to be less. These numbers here are more in the 90s than the hundreds, whereas, the higher your BMI, the longer your processing time. And for the morbidly obese in particular, you've got an extra quarter hour involved there roughly. So what I finally concluded was I did weighted means for I computed the weighted mean and then the that variance formula where we use the square of the weight. So let me just illustrate that again if you haven't seen it before. So the idea is that if I had these four categories and I wanted to get the variance of this weighted sum, it would be a1 squared v of x1 plus on up to a sub 4 squared v of x4. And so I'm implementing that to finally get this variance number for track A. And I've got a similar analysis, for track B, which lives out here. And their mean is 103.8 and the standard deviation that's higher, 13.41. So same math. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to note these down, and then we'll just run this. So I want to make this one 9762, 6.789, let's say. And this one's 103.8 for B, 13.416. Go back to our model. And we just change our surgery times. So surgery here is going to be those track A folks. Now track A is going to perform better. So it's 9762 and 6.789. And then for track B, it's the higher BMIs rather. So 103.8. So we're expecting track B to get impacted hurt 13.416. Let me just review those two. That one is 97 change and 6.789, and this one here is the 103 and the 13 looks to be good. And we're going to run this. Again, 5 runs likely going to be needed. But let's see what we get. A is going to do better because it's got a lower mean. $70. I don't know what's doing with this help here, but presumably that's okay. So this is what we got, 151 and 161. So pretty tough results. And I'm going to rerun this one. I was hoping A is better than B, but not good results overall compared to other runs that we've had. Now, of course, this is a possible outcome, and that's why you're going to do multiple runs, just so that you get a better sense of what an average day is going to look like. Okay, so this will be our last run here. You see what we've got. 570, and we run. Okay, so we got 5 completions in both, 135, 157. So now A is, this is anecdotal basically because it's just one run, but A is better than B. And I was still able to get my 5 executions here. So this has been sort of, this track has been compromised by by assigning all the higher BMIs to it. And so we would hope that maybe we could squeeze out a 6th patient in track 8 because that average time has come down from 100 and change to 97 and change, but turns out that that's not enough. Now, this is just one proposal in isolation. You could do additional things, in a composite case where you add a CRNA, you could pool the ORs, you could slow down the arrival rate and consider multiple changes simultaneously, but you definitely want to analyze in isolation each of these proposals separately so you know what their contribution looks like.